Hello everybody, John Felt here. This is a SABE Data Center weekly briefing and hazard assessment for August 25th, 2019. Tropics have gotten a bit busier. I think we have some hot weather moving into the interior west data centers. Other than that, I don't see anything all that interesting. Nice weather in Seattle. Typical summer weather over the East Coast. So let's get started and take a look at how things are shaping up for the upcoming week. Three, two, one. Take a look at the last week precipitation. You can see that most of the more significant precipitation was over the middle part of the nation. Western U.S. was on the dry side. Eastern U.S. some precipitation, but it was scattered. I wanted to show you we have different air masses around the nation right now. We have a dry air mass here, dew points in the 50s and 60s. And we have a dry air mass in the west, but this is a dry and warmer air mass. And then we have this real muggy and hot air mass down here. So we have a lot of different air masses, and that's what's shaping our weather across the nation. Temperature departures right now for the last week. You can see well above normal temperatures at Ashburn and Manhattan. Not so much so in the west, but that'll be changing as we go forward. Wanted to point out that we are in a drought over Seattle area and approaching some of our western centers. The first area of brown here is a moderate drought. This is a severe drought. Stream flows unusually low, soils are quite dry, and we do have parts of the U.S. in this area. We have a wildfire risk due to the very dry fuels due to this prolonged dry spell. So I know you like to keep updated on tropical activity. We have some things. This system here was monitored, but it's fallen apart. This system here is going to remain offshore. Rain will come very close to the East Coast, but right now I don't think it's going to have any impact on Ashburn or Manhattan. Maybe some wave action along the coast. DORIAN will be the one to watch this week as it moves up in this direction here. And you can see it's going to be all week to get up in this direction, so really no impact other than Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. No impact on the U.S. this week. Perhaps we'll have to see what it does next week. Lots of uncertainty on that right now. These are the areas here. You can see this remains away from Ashburn, well offshore. Good consensus as far as model agreement here this week, but not good agreement on intensity. Some of the higher models bring it up into a category 1. Some of the other models break it down. I think right now the way to look at this is we have pretty good confidence it's moving towards the Dominican Republic, south of Puerto Rico this week. After that, I think it's just way too early to speculate on where this might go. Could fall apart, might not have any impact, or could brush towards Florida this time next week, but way out there, so let's don't get too excited about it yet. Jet stream well to the north. This is the feature that is going to dominate a lot of our weather in the middle part of the U.S. with some cooler weather. You can see it here. This area digging trough here is going to bring some really cool and dry air mass over the Midwest, Great Lakes, parts of the eastern U.S. And I want to bring to your attention here, this ridge builds right in here. See that brown? And that's going to bring some real hot temperatures to our western data centers in the future here, and let's keep an eye on that as that ridge builds. And you can see it does sort of break down and after a period of time, so we're looking at a number of days of this hot weather ahead. And you can sort of see it in here, right in, let's go look at it right here. It starts to come in here later this week and then sort of peaks, and then it gets back. Still remains above normal, but not as much so. I'd say maybe about 3 days or so of that heat. Now, look in the middle part of the U.S., much cooler and drier air, and that doesn't quite reach the eastern data centers, but it brings temperatures back closer to normal. Looks like the biggest impact of the cooler weather will sort of be in here, much warmer in the west, and pulling back in the east. No significant precipitation at our western data centers, probably just scattered activity in the east, nothing significant. Now this is where we're getting into those really hot temperatures in that 6 to 10 day range over the western data centers, and that's something we need to keep a close eye out on. Middle part of the U.S. really looking nice, and that'll probably bring temperatures back down closer to normal at Ashburn and Manhattan. And then above normal temperatures in the 8 to 14 day range, but not probably as hot as that 6 to 10 day range. And look at this, strong signal below normal precipitation right through the next 2 weeks. So again, it looks like as we get close to the end of the week, that's when we're going to have those building heat in our interior west data centers. And let's take a quick look at Quincy here, just sort of a quick overview, because I know we're really focused on that as far as humidity levels, but let's look at dew point here. And what I'm looking at is I'm looking at when the high temperatures here, during the higher temperatures, they can hold more moisture. So what we don't want to see is this sort of the dew point pushing up here corresponding with the hot temperatures of the day. So let's sort of look at that, and we just don't see much of that. Humidity sort of comes down into the real low 20s during the afternoon, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Dew points even in the 30s, lower. Humidity's coming down 17%, so I don't see anything through Wednesday, even though we're warming up here. And then Thursday, back up, maybe dew points in the 40s. Again, humidity staying low. So I don't see a problem right now with Quincy, even though we're getting some hot temperatures. I don't see a strong push of moisture corresponding with that heat. But I will be keeping an eye on it. Again, I think the weather story for our data centers this week will be the building heat over the western U.S. At Quincy, at Columbia. And that should be our issue, but I don't see the high push of moisture with those hot temperatures. Looks like more of a hot and dry air mass. That's this week's briefing. Have a great week. Take care.